think we're live. Hey everybody, how's it going? Dan Schinder here on Drum Talk TV I'm so glad that we're doing these live again. And I'm here with Raquy who's coming to us from Istanbul. I'm broadcasting from Globe, Arizona, 100 miles east of Phoenix up in the mountains. Tell us where you're watching from, and you are in for a treat. As you know, we don't just talk about drum set playing. We don't just talk about rock drumming or jazz drumming or pop drumming. We talk about all sorts of drumming from all over the world. And Raquy is a darbuka player extraordinaire as well as an instructor, and she plays many other instruments as well. Raquy, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so happy to finally have you on. We've been friends online for, I think it's been about 5 or maybe 6 years now since we've been posting your videos, and we've always stayed in touch, and I'm glad we finally got our schedule together. That's how busy she is. It took us 5 or 6 years. So let's start with this, and folks, hang in there, because I'm going to play 3 different clips of Raquy's music, one by herself playing all the instruments, one with some fellow ladies playing darbuka, Ladies of Doom, as well as her playing with her instructor, Mr. Bunnyman, with a secret key. So you're in for some real treats, and she happens to have a darbuka handy to kind of demonstrate technique. But first, tell us about your musical journey. I know you play violin. You started with violin. That has translated into your musical world currently in many ways. But how did your musical journey start, and how did you transition to falling in love with the darbuka, which is just such a beautiful instrument?
Well, my journey began in my house because my parents are both classical musicians. And so I grew up with a very strong classical music education, and I played a little violin, and then I was mostly focused on piano. Mm-hmm. And my parents both played in classical orchestras, and we had, music all over, instruments in the house. All of us played. I actually had like a string quartet with me, my 2 sisters, and my mom. We had a 2 violoncello, and viola. So,
and how old were you then? What were the ages of everybody?
I have a picture of me playing a little violin when I was in diapers.
Oh,
so
wow.
I couldn't even go to the bathroom, and I was playing the violin. So
that's great.
They really kept me young. And, classical music all through my childhood. And then it was, all of my classical music teachers were always commenting about how my rhythm is amazing. And I always loved rhythm. I always loved math. I was kind of like this math genius in school, and I loved numbers and relationships between numbers and fitting things into cycles and stuff like that. So then when I was traveling in India, when I was in my 20s, I started playing Indian drum, and I just loved the drumming. I loved everything about it, and the math of it, and everything, sitting on the floor, and just everything about it, the practicing. And then I got back home to Tel Aviv, which is where I was living, and the darbuka is the drum indigenous to the Middle East. So
Mm-hmm.
And then when I heard the sound of the darbuka and started playing it, that was really my favorite drum. And also I love the Middle Eastern music. It's a accompaniment instrument. It goes with the music. So I love the music, and so I just started playing the darbuka.
That's great.
And, 1 year after I started playing, I didn't need any other job. I had so much gig opportunities. Just after 1 year that I was playing,
wow.
it was almost like an overnight thing that I became a darbuka.
Now, I know because you were so into rhythms naturally, your timing was good, and you were great at math, and I really believe that in all ways, music is math that we can hear, whether it's rhythmically, melodically, when we talk about the circle of fifths, and I don't understand why some people disagree with me on that, but that's okay. Like my dad used to say, you're entitled to your opinion, even if it's wrong. But my question is, how much of your previous musical background translated into your drumming? Was it completely separate, and all that drumming came naturally because of your natural timing and interest in math? Or was there a correlation, and is there still a correlation?
Well, I think having a classical piano education will help you in any instrument that you would want to learn. So
Right.
I really think that having that musical education really gave me some skills, with timing skills, practicing, how to practice, having a good ear, all these skills that I had really helped me learning the darbuka.
Yeah.
And especially, most of the work of a darbuka player is as accompaniment.
Right.
Accompaniment. So because when I played the piano, I used to love to accompany. I would accompany violinists. I would accompany singers. I love the art of accompaniment, and that really translated. And I think that's why when I first started playing, I wasn't so great technically, but I was getting all the gigs because the art of accompaniment is making the other musicians sound good, and I
Right.
knew that. So that's why a lot of the people wanted to play with me because I knew how to be a supportive player and try to make them sound good.
And
So
that is by no coincidence, folks, pay attention. That is by no coincidence the real job of a drummer. That's the foundation, the accompaniment. It's funny, we have Drum Talk TV shirts and we post different memes saying this all the time. Your band is only as good as your drummer because of the accompaniment factor.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a big part of it.
Well, I want to play a piece of music that I'd like you to give a little setup on. It's my favorite piece of music I've ever heard of yours and have gotten to see because you made a beautiful video. And it's Monkey Mind. And I'd like you to tell everybody the other instruments that they're also going to see you play in this video, and then we'll fly it up.
Sure. Well, I believe in this video I'm playing the darbuka in half of the scenes, and I'm playing the Comanche in the other scenes, which is a bowed instrument. It's called actually the King Comanche. It's 12 strings of us in the family of spike fiddle, and it's designed after the Iranian Comanche.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize it was 12 strings either. That's fascinating. Wow, well, let's play that for everybody, and then we'll talk some more and play a couple other videos. Here we go, everybody. Check this out. Wow, I just love that piece.
Thanks.
Obviously, it's all original music. It's beautiful. Can you talk about some of the fundamentals of the technique of playing the darbuka? Because when I watch you play, the thing that fascinates me the most, and I personally love playing hand drums. I have a few of them up there, and I love playing with my hands and fingers on my drum set, actually, which has been done for many years by my big hero, John Bonham, but he was definitely not the first. There was Joe Morello from the jazz world. There was Papa Joe Jones from the jazz world. And it fascinates me, your finger technique and how many strokes you can get so fast. And I have watched your videos and sat with the djembe in the position of a darbuka, and I've tried to get that. I don't know what you're doing. Can you kind of demonstrate that slowly and work up in speed?
Sure. Well, the technique that I use is called split hand, and it's a new technique that just started in Turkey about 20 years ago.
Wow.
Actually, that's why I started going to Turkey, because I came to study this, because I saw what was happening in Turkey on YouTube, and I was like, oh my God, that's like superhuman speed.
It is, and now you can do it.
Yeah, and so we use the individual fingers. So it's, I feel like this technique is a cross between Arabic darbuka playing and Indian tabla, because we're using all the individual fingers. So
right.
I can play, for example, Indian tabla compositions, and it sounds really cool. So, and I'll just show you my drum. This is the drum. So what we do in this style is, instead of just hitting, like single hits, we split. So I'm going. So that can get quite, and or the triplet,
Can you lower the camera just slightly for while you're playing, just to get a little more of the handwork in there, please? And it's a beautiful drum too, by the way.
Stuff like that, and we can also do less stuff with snap.
Wow, can you do that again slowly? And is that adapted from a tabla technique, Raquy?
No.
Okay.
These are not from the tabla technique.
Okay.
These are, some stuff that I came up with, and
it's amazing. Yeah, I'd love to see that slower. It's great.
Like this. My doom. The pillows here are eating my doom. So, yeah. So you see, in these snaps, I'm actually using the nails.
Oh, okay, got it.
Your nails are hitting.
Yeah.
And these are sounding like they're called pops, because this is regular, but when I put the thumb there, it's pops. So when you combine the snaps and the pops. And you notice I'm moving the hand like this, so it's changing the pitch of these.
Yeah, it's literally tuning the drum. That is awesome. So here's a question. When you have darbuka, if you're reading darbuka music, can you decipher which notes are for which hand, or is that up to the player to interpret? And you could raise the camera again so we could see you.
Is that good?
Yeah, perfect.
So that's a good question. Actually, I developed my own notation system.
Oh, wow.
Which it shows you exactly which finger to use and exactly where to hit it. And it's quite sophisticated. I mean, there's like, letters or numbers and then superscripts, and so each symbol shows you exactly what to do. So, for example, my student could get a piece of music and play it exactly the fingering, the where you're hitting it, so, but that's a system that I developed. I think it would be very hard to get that precision from like if you're doing it with a Western, trying to do it with a Western style.
Yeah, because I was thinking, how would you know what goes where?
But I have a whole notation key, and I have a few books, and all my compositions are notated that way.
Wow.
So, and it's most resembles the Indian system where you have these underlines, and then on the underline, so the underlines are the beats, and then on top of the underline you write what hit you're playing. So
interesting. I'd love to play another video. And this is with you, with 3 other young ladies from different parts of the world, doing some social distancing, recording a beautiful piece of music. I love this piece as well. This is Ladies of Doom. And do you want to briefly talk real quickly how you put this together, and then I'll play the video for everybody.
Well, the Ladies of Doom are, it started as my three of my favorite students, actually, and we got together, and they're just so talented and such good workers, and it was just so fun to play together. And now we can't be together, but we started making videos, and this is one of my compositions called The Matrix, and we had a Zoom meeting, decided what we're going to do, decided the BPM, and then we each recorded it on our own, and one of the ladies put it together in editing, and it's nice to be able to collaborate that way.
It is, and it's a great piece, great playing. It's also a testament to your teaching because they are so good as well. So I'm going to play that, and when we come back, folks, I'm going to check comments. So tell us where you're watching from, and also let us know if you have any questions for Raquy. Here we go. Awesome, just awesome. I in the in the very beginning of that, I looked at the monitor and the top. You two on the top were chopped off a little bit, so I had to slide it down. But the synchronicity is great, and I also love that all four of you are not playing the exact same drum head, so there are some different sounds and textures, and of course the way everybody plays, so the synchronicity's there, and then you hear all these different voices and tones because of the differences in the drums. Very, very well done. Does anyone, I have a monitor here, so folks, if you see me looking over here, I'm not watching a hockey game or anything. I'm totally with you, totally with Raquy, looking at how the broadcast is. Let us know how the picture is, how the sound is, and if you have any questions for Raquy. There is one actually comment where Arthur Michael Eisenberg says, I would love to see her music notations that she wrote. Do you have an example of this online? And also feel free to tell everybody how they can get in touch with you if they want to take lessons online and learn more about what you offer.
Great. Okay. Well, actually, I have a Darbuka school, online Darbuka school, which is just called darbukaschool.com. And
wait, that's a clever name. How'd you come up with that? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I couldn't believe it was available, actually. I just got it a couple months ago. But in that school, there's actually a free, there's some stuff that you need to buy, but there's actually a free course that's called Notation Key Demonstration. So if anyone's interested in the notation, you can check that out.
Oh, that's great.
About the notation, and then there's a video demonstration of each hit.
Oh, wow. That is great. Arthur, thanks for bringing that up. That's fantastic. I want to switch to a different instrument for a moment, because I'm wondering if you could help settle a, not quite argument or dispute, but a disalignment I'm having with a fellow musician that we're working on a project together. My question refers to, I'm going to use the violin as the example, since that's another instrument of yours. Growing up playing violin, and even now, are you able to pick up the violin and just improvise a piece, or do you have to be reading a score of music? And it's a double-pronged question. If you are reading a score of music, if there were 8 bars that just said improvise, are you able to improvise along with how the music's going on the violin? I know that might sound like a really elementary question, but there's a deeper background to it, and the answer will help me decide whether or not I'm right or not.
I haven't played the violin since I was 7.
Oh!
But let me answer your question with the Comanche.
Okay, perfect.
When I first started playing the Comanche, because I had a classical music background, it was very difficult for me to improvise.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of classical musicians have difficulty improvising because we're just used to playing notation.
Right.
But now now that I've been playing more Eastern music, I can improvise. Yeah.
Okay,
and,
great.
I had to learn how to do that, and work on it with my teachers. And it's an art. There's a whole art to learning how to improvise. And in Middle Eastern music, there's all these tricks, how to modulate, and it's a whole art form. So you need to practice that, and
Great, thank you. That was very helpful. I appreciate that. Now, every great lifestyle coach, business coach, consultant, everybody who's an expert in what they do has someone that they learn from, and you're a great example of that. That you're as great a musician as you are, and you're still learning. Tell us about your teacher, and then I'd love to play the piece of the two of you together, Secret Key.
Hey, great. Well, Who Do You Mean is the most beautiful player I've ever heard on the darbuka. And I was listening to his albums for years. I didn't even know who he was. But he's the one that I ended up studying with 10 years ago when I made my first pilgrimage to Istanbul. He was recommended to me, and I've just never seen anything like it. He's a total channel. He's completely relaxed, and it's just flowing through him, and he has a depth and a beauty to each hit that I've never heard anybody. It's just such emotion. You don't think of a drum as an instrument that can express emotion, but he does. And so and also crazy speed and strength. So I was quite a famous darbuka player for 10 years, basically being self-taught and just learning from YouTube and watching videos, listening to people's solos, copying, and I was self-taught. And then 10 years ago, I went to Istanbul and basically had to kind of start over from the beginning, and slow everything down, my technique. I sounded worse before I had to actually not perform for a little bit because I had this awkward transitional period of really having to go back and
it kind of scrambled your what you thought you knew and what you were good at. It sort of scrambled all that in a way, right?
It's just he changed my whole technique of my whole hand position and everything. So I didn't sound so good. I was sounding good before, and then I had a little awkward transitional phase, but then I passed that, and now he really took my playing to a whole new level. And we still, after 10 years, I'm learning from him. We practice. It's more like training. He plays a phrase, and I try to repeat. He plays a phrase, and I try to repeat. Hours and hours we can do this, and it's just such a great experience for me, and it really raises my level so much to just be able to sit with him and try to copy his phrases.
That's great, and it sounds like you were also blessed with a really good ear. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Me too. And honestly, I think if it wasn't for that, I would be a crap musician. And one of the reasons why is because with all honesty, I am not a great studier or learner when it comes to, like this. If I get a new program for my computer, I've been working in video for 20 years, and I've never read the manual for my editing programs or anything like that because I can't digest information that way. It has no context. I have to get in, do it. Then if I need help, I refer to help, and then what I'm looking up has some context. It was kind of like the same way for that growing up with music. My musical director when I was in concert band growing up in junior high used to get mad at me. I was the first chair drummer, but insisted on playing the timpani drums instead of the snare, which is weird. But he would get upset because we'd be playing something like Man from La Mancha, and I'd be looking around the room. I'd be looking around going, oh, look at what the woodwinds are doing. Whoa, the brass, I love this part. And he would stop and say, Danny, why aren't you reading the music? And I say, because I know the piece. We would play it, the whole band would learn it and play it. And after that, I never needed to look at the music. So I think if I didn't have a good ear, my lack of patience or just how I'm wired to not learn from sheet music and take instruction, maybe, I think I'd be totally lost, So it's great that you have both and had such a great instructor. And what is his background? Do you know where he learned and how long he's been playing?
Yeah, he started when he was 7, and all of his family is musicians. He's from a city called Samsun on the Black Sea, and he came to Istanbul when he was 17, and he picked up. He didn't really have like a hoja, like a teacher, like how he is with me, but he just has a gift, and he became very successful. He was the leader of this group Harem, which is a Turkish drumming group. That was the album that I was listening to for years before it. And, he was doing so well with that group that he was able to buy himself a house, just from this drumming group. And then he also, for years, he accompanied Tarkan, who's he's like the, Michael Jackson of Turkey. So that was a great gig.
Oh, that's awesome.
Successful just because he's gifted and he's a beautiful player. And,
well, let's see the two of you together. I want to play Secret Key. How neat to be able to create a piece of music with your musical mentor, right? Everybody check this out. We're going to go to the next video right here. Let's see if we got it lined up right. Here we go. Wow is all I can say. It's just so musical. It is so wonderful to see and hear drums being so musical. And a couple of the things that I loved the most about it is, and I love this with many different hand drums where this is done, is the muting with one hand while there's playing with the other, as well as the tuning of the drum head while you're playing, which you demonstrated earlier. And it's brilliantly done in that, as well as in the previous video with Ladies of Doom. I love that shh, 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 shh. It's so great. I love it. I do this scratching sort of thing with my fingernails across that. And it's I think that drummers of any percussion instrument need to take more time and really explore the many different sounds they can get out of each drum, each cymbal. I think we are often brainwashed to think that you hit it and it goes boom, but there's so much more to it, right? So what do you have coming up? Do you have any classes coming up that people can sign up for? Are you recording more music? Are you looking to book a tour when we can all get out and about again, hopefully soon?
Well, it's funny because since this lockdown, I'm kind of, in a way, I'm busier than I ever was. Although I'm not going anywhere, I have all these video projects going. I mean, we have all these videos planned with the Ladies of Doom, and now all these master drummers want to make videos with Ladies of Doom. So I don't know if you've heard of Abos Kosimov. He's the Uzbeki Doiver player.
Yes.
It's going to be Albus Cosmo with Ladies of Doom. My teacher now wants to make a video with Ladies of Doom, and I just made a video with 15 of my students playing one of my pieces that somebody's editing together, and all these projects, and I'm also finishing my book. I have about over 100 original compositions
Wow.
for Darbuka, like a lot of melodic compositions. So I'm finishing compiling those into books, and just I have so many projects going on. It's like at the beginning of each day I make a list, and I'm just trying to be organized and plug away at each of them. So yeah, and then as far as touring, you can't plan anything these days. So I'm not. Actually, it's great. It's the first time in so many years that I don't have any pressure to plan anything, and I'm being very creative in other ways, and I'm really enjoying just being in one place. I bought plants. I could never have plants before because I'm always traveling. I bought plants, and I'm cooking, and I'm doing artwork, and I'm actually having this amazing time and not planning anything. And even though we'll be able to start traveling, are there going to be live shows? How annoying is it going to be to travel? With all these. So I'm not planning anything. I'm just working on these projects, and just it's an amazing time, actually.
That is great. It's great to hear. So my wife checked in on the feed to see how everything is, and she had to comment and says, I have to dance every time I hear Raquy play. Thanks, Anja. Let's see where people are from. There's a lot of people commenting and watching, but they're not saying where they are. Oh, Michael St. John, a wonderful friend who runs drumline.net, another drumming media company here in the U.S. Thank you for tuning in, Michael. Sam Coletto Sr., how's it going? Arch Brooks says needs more cowbell, but he's joking. He says laugh out loud. Jim Ho says he was first chair cowbell, but Jim Ho is the one that brought up the point about rudiments with your fingers and the different sounds you're getting, things like that. Arthur, who asked that great question about your notation, Arthur Michael Eisenberg says, brilliant lady. That's a wonderful compliment. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. And please check out, oh, I just saw something. Hold on. Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, Jim Ho says, I'm going to inject this into the commandments, the Marine and Bugle Corps in Washington, D.C. That would be awesome. You can check out what Raquy is doing at darbukaschool.com. I put the link in the comments. I'll also go back after this archives, and we'll put it in the post as well. If you're at all interested in this type of music and playing this type of drumming, I encourage you to connect with Raquy and take some lessons. I've always, well, not always, but for the last few years, I've said when I retire, I want to take a 3-month sabbatical and travel to different parts of the world. North Africa, the Middle East, West Africa, India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, that area. I've been to Japan and filmed a couple taiko documentaries, but not on a sabbatical. I want to go to different regions of the world like this and do nothing but study drumming and percussion of that region. Cuba, of course, as well. The West Indies, where my wife's family is from. There's just so much that I think people by human nature often, especially in the West, Raquy, they fall into a box, and that's what they learn, that's what they like, that's what they know, and they don't often expose themselves to more things. And we all need to remember, especially in the West, that if you love rock and pop, a lot of that came from blues, which came from jazz, which came from African drumming. Trace this stuff back so you can learn more about what you're emulating by your rock, jazz, and pop stars, and then learn that stuff yourself, like everything Raquy just showed us on the videos and on the interview here, to apply that to your drum set playing or your Latin percussion. It all crosses over. It's one big pot of stew that you could stir up and create beautiful music with. Raquy, my last question for you is, the Raquy Danziger fun fact question. Dun, 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 dun. When you're not writing music and you're not recording music, when you're not doing anything having to do with music, what do you like to do for your own personal enjoyment?
Okay, well, I love sports. I run several times a week when we're not under lockdown like now. I do Ashtanga yoga primary series every morning. I meditate. I love vegan cooking. And I also recently started making artwork. So
Great.
I guess I should also add studying languages. I love studying foreign languages. So.
Oh, that's great. Do you have a new one that you've been working on?
No, well, I'm really trying. I speak right now 5 languages, and my worst language of the ones I speak is also my favorite, which is Arabic, which I'm in love with, and so I'm trying to just work on all of those and improve my Arabic, but I really just love studying languages.
That's great. A lot of people don't know this about me. They can't tell by my accent, but English is actually my second language. My first language is sarcasm. So you mentioned you like vegan cooking. What's your favorite vegan dish to cook? I used to have a cooking show on TV years ago. That's how I got into video, and I still love cooking. And in July, I was diagnosed with a very advanced case of diabetes, and I was a good eater by general standards. I wasn't into sweets or candy or anything like that, but I drank way too much fruit juice and ate way too much fruit, and I think that's how I got it because it's not in my family. So I've had to make some huge adjustments. I'd say 60-70% of my diet now is raw food. I do still eat meat, fish, and poultry, but a lot of raw foods. What's your favorite vegan dish to cook?
Well, I don't know if I have one favorite, but right now in Turkey it's artichoke season, and you get these huge, giant artichoke hearts, and I stuff the artichoke heart with fava, which is mashed beans, and I put on top roasted pine nuts.
Mmm.
Lots of lemon, and that's pretty decadent. So,
yeah. Oh, that sounds beautiful. I'm gonna have to try that. Great, Raquy. Thank you so much. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thing that since the lockdown, I've been doing this thing on Facebook Live. I have a Darbuka Lovers group.
Oh.
And every day, it's 5:30 p.m. in Istanbul, 10:30 a.m. in New York. For California, it's early, 7:30.
7:30 Pacific, right?
Hour. It's a practice with me. It's not for beginners. It's because I have advanced students all over the world, and they're all tuning in. It's amazing. I have people from China and Brazil and Italy and Canada and from all over the world practicing with me every day. It's a free thing. I mean, there's a link for people who want to leave a donation, but it's free, and that's on the Darbuka Lovers Facebook page, and anyone's welcome to check it out.
That's great. So it's an open group, so people can even just pop in and observe and decide if they're up to par to participate?
It's an open public group. I mean, I think you can even see the lessons without joining the group, but you can also join the group, and it's just been, when it's a lockdown here, I live alone, so I could spend 4 days, just with seeing no people, and so it's so nice for me every day for 1 hour that I'm connecting with all my students all over the world, and I don't see them, but I see who's watching, and they're commenting, and it's just been a really nice thing, and also twice a week it's with Bunyamin, so you see him playing, and we're all trying to copy him, and then all the other days is me, and it's just been a really, really fun thing, and anyone's welcome to check it out.
That's great. Thank you so much for taking time on your weekend to join me for this. We will have to do this again. Please keep me up to date with all your other new material. You know that we'd be happy to post it on the Drum Talk TV channels. And folks, thank you so much for following what we do here on Drum Talk TV and joining Raquy and myself. And if you're watching this on the archive, feel free to still leave questions. Raquy and I will check back over the next few days and see what's going on. And just thank you, everybody, so much. We will see you soon. Thanks, everybody.